So obviously, we just talked about a little bit of it. But what was the hardest thing making that transition from high school football to college?
The hardest transition was leaving my friends behind. That was
Mm-hmm.
one. That was the
Mm-hmm.
hardest part because I cried on my drive to San Diego. That was the hardest transition. But I think making the transition to basketball was there's a sense of insecurity because you've invested so much in one thing and it leaves you very, very vulnerable. So making that transition wasn't easy. And then knowing that, and I had the imposter syndrome too.
Mm-hmm.
I had this imposter syndrome, like, okay, there are a lot of people who are gonna think I just got a scholarship because of my brother. There are gonna
Mm-hmm.
be a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people who think like this guy never played football. I'm like, how did I? And then I started thinking like, how did I get here? Like maybe I shouldn't be here. I don't even know football like that. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
And so that part was hard. So it was mostly me dealing with me than it was anything else because there were all these different things inside of my head.
Mm-hmm.
That was hard part. You know, there was this thing that we connected about because we know what it's like to play in the shadow of. When you play
Yeah.
in the shadow of, man, that's extra pressure on top of pressure because no matter what you do, people will always compare you to, in their case, their fathers. In my case, my brother. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to break that. You're trying to get your own identity while you're struggling with imposter syndrome. So, but once I settled, and I think the speech that helped me settle, because I remember there was my sophomore year, man, I had a complete meltdown. But my defensive line coach, same guy, Coach Delgado, he brought me in, and I was about to just give it all up, man, because I had just had enough. I just felt like I couldn't shake the shadow of my brothers. And he goes, "You're a lion. Your brother is a cheetah. A lion never looks to a cheetah and says, 'I wish I was a cheetah.' A cheetah never looks to a lion and goes, 'I wish I was a cheetah, a lion,' because the cheetah is the fastest animal on the planet, right? The
Mm-hmm.
lion is the strongest, right? It's the king of the jungle. So they
Mm-hmm.
both have their innate equalities that makes them very, very special. And they're not
Mm-hmm.
willing to give it up to be
Mm-hmm.
something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when he said that to me, it just hit, it clicked. And that's when I started to accept who I was. I said, you know what? I'm gonna be. I don't have to be my brother. I don't because he was a cheater now. Like I mean, the reason why he ended up being the all-time sack leader for San Diego State, the all-time sack leader for the Packers, because he was that guy. And so once I settled that I am who I am and I don't have to compare myself to my brother, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's when my college football career started. So I really say my college football career started the end of my sophomore year. That's when it
Okay.
clicked over for me. And after that, I never looked back.